Professor Rao is a Bharatiya, lives in India, lives in Bharata. He is a Bharata, true to the definition that Bha Atmaniye Rataha Te Bharataha, the one who is contemplative on the self is a Bharata. He is a Bharatiya, he is a Samskrita Vidwan, and is also a person of extraordinary culture. So Bharata, Samskrita, and Samskriti, all the three have been part of Professor Rao. It is his being. Professor Rao's expertise is in the Sanskrit and Pali languages. Dr. Rao is a professor at the School of Sanskrit and Indic Studies at the Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi, India. He has been professor of Sanskrit and Buddhist studies on the Indian Council of Cultural Research, very highly respected organization. And he was a chair in the conference in Cambodia. He has also served as the chairperson of the Special Center for Sanskrit Studies at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. A very, very hearty welcome to you, Professor Upendra Rao, and very sincere thanks for accepting my invitation to speak this evening. One of the most influential historical figures who walked on Bharata's land is Bhagavan Buddha. His personality, his teaching, and anecdotes of his life all have contributed to Indian culture, be it sculpture, art, architecture, ethics, literature, language. For request Professor Upendra Rao to kindly start his talk. Thank you, sir. Hearty welcome to you.
Itipiso Bhagava Araha Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisadamma Sarathi Sattha Deva Manussanam Buddho Bhagavati Ye Dharmaha Hetu Prabhavaha Tesham Hetum Tathagato Aha Tesham Chayo Nirodho Evam Vadi Mahashramana. Respected Ashwatha Garu, the renowned Vedic scholar and faculty and member of Hindu University of America, and other Atmiya Bandhugan, who are present in this meeting, and some of them Sunita ji, we just recently met in Columbus, and also I think Hema ji also, same Hema Shukla ji, we met in her house, and many distinguished Namaste Hema. So many senior scholars, senior Bharatiyas, those who are residing here in other places. I'm very happy that you are sparing 1 hour time. I know it is very difficult to sit in front of a computer 1 hour, even for younger people nowadays, but you are sitting, that means it's a great thing for me, great inspiration for me. And mainly Dr. Ashwatha Garu is convening such a great programs in USA. I'm very much thrilled to be acquainted with him. Now, the subject given to me is the contribution of Buddhism to Bharatiya Samskriti. But I say that we should not say Buddhism. Contribution of Buddhadharma, we can say. Contribution of Buddhadharma to Bharatiya Samskriti. Because why we had to say Buddhadharma? Because many people think that Buddhism is a religion. Some other people think that Buddhism is only, no, it is not religion, it's a philosophy. Some other people say that it is religion and philosophy, both. But I say that Buddhism is neither religion nor philosophy. Buddhism is a way of life, just like Hinduism. Or you can say Hinduism, Hindu Dharma, we can say. Why I said way of life? Because many people around the world are following Buddha Dharma, even though they are not initiated Buddhists. They are following the Buddhist way of life and Hindu way of life. No need to become Hindu, no need to become Buddha, because these are two, unlike the Abraham religions, they are great way of life, we can say. So when we speak about Buddhadharma and its contribution to Sanatana Bharatiya Sanskriti, it's very, very interesting topic for me. It is a kind of mind-blowing topic for me, because I have been working in the same field. Buddhism or Buddhadharma is misunderstood, often misunderstood. We always keep it in Purvapaksha. In the history of Indian philosophy, we have been treating the Buddhist philosophy as atheist and atheist philosophy, and always we are keeping in Purvapaksha. If you see the Madhava Acharya's Sarvadarshana Sangraha also, Buddha Darshana is in Purvapaksha. But if we carefully investigate the ancient Buddhadharma, we understand that Buddhadharma is a continuity of Vedic thought. It's a continuity of Vedic thought. Though some scholars disagree to this, but I say that this is a continuation of the Vedic thought. According to Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, Buddha's main object was to bring reformation of Sanatana Dharma by returning to the basic principles. Because Buddha gave importance to Acharana. That is why we say, you see, just now I read it's very famous Prarthana, Theravada countries. Itipiso Bhagava Samma Sambuddho Sugato Vijacharana Sampan. Vidya and Acharana, both, that is what very important in Buddha we had to see. Whatever, without realization, Buddha never said to other people. He first wanted to realize everything. He wanted to understand everything completely, experience it. Only then he used to say to his disciples and to other people. So that is why in his prayer only they kept Vijacharana Sampanna. Vidya, Vijja means Vidya. That is in Pali. This prayer is in Pali. Vidya and Acharana Sampanna Buddha. And Acharana, I think that Buddhadharma's importance came in our Sanatana Dharma when Acharana was reducing in our I feel like, because we have several examples in Tripitaka literature. Again and again, Buddha gives stress on Acharana. Bahum Piche, in Dhammapada, everybody should go through the Dhammapada in the world. Dhammapada is such a great text. It is like Bhagavad Gita, you can see. Bhagavan Buddha says in Dhammapada, Bahum Piche Samhitam Bhasamano Natakkaro Hoti Naro Pamadi. This is in Pali. Bahum Piche Samhitam Bhasamano Natakkaro Hoti Naro Pamadi Gopo va Gavo Ganayam Paresam Na Bhagava Samanyasa Hoti. This is just now, as I said just now, that we kept Buddhism in Purvapaksha, and also we stopped knowing about Buddhism and we stopped knowing about the Pali language also. To be very frank, our ancient Indian culture, if you want to know the whole of our ancient Indian philosophy, ancient Indian religion, ancient Indian culture, you should know Pali literature also. Many people have some misconceptions on Pali because of there are several issues regarding the Pali. That is another topic. After Ambedkar has accepted Buddhism, so many people started becoming Buddhists, and the Pali has two kinds of problems. Some people say Pali is our language. It's only our language. It's very, very, very saddest thing in India. Pali is everybody's language, all Indians' language. And some other people, Orthodox Hindus, you can say, that Pali is not our language. These are two kinds of problems Pali is facing. They think the Pali is not our language. They say that other people say that Pali is only our language. So I think this is very, very unfortunate thing is a kind of ignorance that we are thinking language is like that. Originally, Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit. These three languages are our languages, our all Indian languages, Bharatiya Bhashas. Pali has a lot of connection with Indian language. So Pali has a great influence on Indian languages, like Sanskrit. So now what he says, Bhagavan Buddha says in this Gatha, Bahum Piche Samhitam Bhasamano, means even if you are speaking so much things, you are speaking about the Shastra, Samhitam, means there are two meanings. He may be referring to Samhita, Veda also, or he may be referring Shastra also. Two meanings are there for Samhita. You are speaking so much about the Vedas and so much about the Samhita, but you are not following that, Buddha says. Na takkaro hoti naro pamadi. If you are not following that, you will become pamadi. Pamadi is pramadi. Means you are not an alert person. You are very lazy. You are saying something and doing something. It's not appropriate. So you are saying so many things about the Shastras, but you are not following that. So how you are behaving, he gives example of his times. Gopo va gavo ganayam paresam na bhagava samanyasa. You are behaving like a cowherd, Gopalaka, who is not counting his own cows, but he is counting other cows. He does not know how many cows are there in his Gana, but he is counting other cows. So your life is like that, he says. So excellent examples he gives. That is what Buddha says. Here also you can see acharana, practice. Put in practice. Whatever you are saying, put in practice. And that is why Bhagavan Buddha says, that is why there are so many things. Unfortunately, we could not properly understand Buddhism. Also, if you see, Buddhist philosophy is having a lot of connection with our Sanatana Dharma. For example, it has so much connectivity with the Sankhya principles. Sankhya and Buddhism are same because Buddha had two teachers. Because many Buddhists do not say about this. When Buddha came out of his house in search of the truth, because his immediate problem was how to eradicate the dukkha. Because that is very important problem for the Buddha. So when he got enlightenment, he found 4 noble truths. They are called noble truths. 4 truths he understood. They are called 4 noble truths. Number 1, he understood there is a suffering in the world. That is his understanding. And now you may say that what kind of understanding it is, what kind of invention it is. We all know that there is a suffering. But Buddha's understanding, Buddha's experience was something different. It's not like our experience. Buddha was a great person, great personality. He was actually is equal to God. He said, Buddho Bhagavati, they say. So he understood there is a suffering in the world. You see, he again and again he said, same like Sankhya. Sankhya philosophy starts with the investigation of the suffering. You know, if you know the Sankhya Darshana, Dukkhatrayabhigata Jignasa. Tada Bhagata ke hetau Drushte sa apartha, he says. So, Sankhya, Kapila is the oldest sage in our culture. Among all darshanas, sage Kapila was the most senior most. That's what Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Siddhanam Kapilo Muni. Oh Arjuna, among the Siddhas, I am the Kapila. Krishna says. So that Kapila, please understand what kind of mistake we have done with the Buddhadharma. You will understand. Kapila and Buddha has a lot of connectivity. You see, Buddha was from Kapila Vastu. And that Kapila Vastu town was, you know how it was established. Kapila Vastu town was established by the Buddha's ancestors. Buddha's Vamsha is Ikshvaku Vamsha. Buddha was born in Ikshvaku Vamsha. In Pali also, you will find Aikaku. You will find again and again Aikaku. Aikaku means Ikshvaku. So Buddha is from Ikshvaku and his senior kings They have established this Kapila Vastu only after the name of Kapila, sage Kapila. So there is a lot of very big story. No Buddhist tells all these things nowadays because they want to divide our culture. See, everywhere they want to divide. They divided Jainism, they divided Sikhism, they divided Buddhism from Hinduism. So they wanted to weaken Hinduism. But actually, in my opinion, Buddha was a Hindu when he was born. You can say Hindu, you can say Arya, whatever you can say, but he was following our Sanatana Dharma. Shuddhodana was following Sanatana Dharma, his father. That is why I wrote Maya Devi Gajasopna Phalam Lumbini Vanajatam Asita Vasho Paripurakam Shakyan Bayagra Tarakam Buddham Shuddham Vandeham Tam Jagadanandakaram Vande. Anashananindaka Tathagata Satya Dharma Sandeshaka Sugata Madhyama Margan Veshaka Buddha Arya Satya Vijnana Vishuddha Buddham Shuddham Vandeham Tam Jagadanandakaram Vande. So his ancestors found that city they constructed, and then after the name of all these things are described, all these things are incidents, these historical things are described by Ashwaghosha in his poem Buddhacharita. And Buddhists do not talk about the Ashwaghosha as Buddhacharita. Ashwaghosha was a prominent Buddhist monk. By birth, he was a Brahmin. And later, he was contemporary to Kanishka. In Sanskrit literature also, there is always a discussion who is senior, either Kalidasa or Ashwaghosha. Because there is a similarity between the poetry of Ashwaghosha and Kalidasa. So therefore, that discussion is there. So why I'm telling this, you should understand the importance of Ashwaghosha. People know about Kalidasa, but people have forgotten the Ashwaghosha. This is great injustice. So Ashwaghosha wrote two great poems, Mahakavyas. One is Buddhacharitam, other is Saundaranandam. Ashwaghosha also wrote the third, a drama called Shariputra Prakaranam. Unfortunately, Shariputra Prakaranam is not available in Sanskrit now. Shariputra Prakaranam is available only in Chinese language. It is available in Chinese language perfectly. So because Sariputta is a Pali name, Sariputta is called Shariputra in Sanskrit. So Sariputta or Shariputra was a great disciple of Buddha. While he was living, he was a direct disciple of Buddha, direct Shishya of Buddha. And Shariputra was from Nalanda. He was a Brahmin again. You see, if you see, because I don't want to say, take the names, because you should understand the reality. Mahakatyayana also was Brahmin. And Shariputra also, that he became very important disciple of Buddha. And Shariputra was called Dharma Senapati in Buddhism, in Buddhadharma. Buddha himself called, he's a Dharma Senapati. He's like army commander of my Dharma. Buddha used to tell about Shariputra. Ashwaghosha wrote Shariputra Prakaranam, which is available in Chinese language, Chinese translation only. Lot of literature. Unfortunately, there is a lot of injustice has happened to Buddhism, Buddhadharma, and also Buddhist literature in India. Why injustice? Because we have stopped knowing about that. Originally, when people say about the Buddhadharma, some people think that it is Pali language and Pali literature, Pali Tripitakas, canonical literature. There are so many things. See, BC, at the time of King Ashoka only, that means BC 3rd century, Buddhism has split into 18 shakhas. There was a dispute in Buddhism. They have divided in 18 Ashtadasha Nikayas. 18, they have divided into 18 groups. And this is a big history. We don't have much time because Third council was organized only to remove those disputes, to eradicate those disputes. It was headed by Acharya Moggaliputta Sathera. He was the teacher of Ashoka. And he wrote a great book, Kathavattu. And Kathavattu, he condemned all theories. All theories means whose theories? Buddhists only already divided into 18 groups. And Acharya Moggaliputta Sathera, who was the teacher of Ashoka, he was follower of the Theravada, supporting Theravada, and all other Buddhist, other among the 18, the other 17 groups, other 17 philosophy, Buddhist philosophies only, Buddhists only, he condemned those theories. This is our Theravada only is the correct Theravada. So many people don't know all these things. So then he removed a large, some people, there was a dispute about the Buddha's teachings, because what Buddha actually, even now, what Buddha originally taught is an obscure. We don't know what actually said. We just blindly say that Buddha refused Atma, Buddha refused Paramatma. It is not correct to say like that, in my view. In whole Tripitaka, I did not find anywhere Buddha said there is no Atma in the world. I did not find. So there is a Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, but he never says that there is no Atma. And in the whole Tripitakas, Buddha never said that you can eat non-vegetarian. No, it is all misinterpretation. In Mahayana, there is a text Ahara Parivartha, that is a part of Saddhamma Pundarika Sutra, where Buddha very clearly, he says that one should not eat non-vegetarian. He goes to Naraka, like that. There are so much description, so much, very interesting book, Ahara Parivartha. So, what I wanted to say in brief, those who disappointed from that third Buddhist council went away, and they are called Mahasanghikas. They came to northern India and they developed the same Buddha's teachings in Sanskrit language. So Buddha's teachings are not only in Pali, Buddha's teachings are simultaneously in Sanskrit also. Many people think that first Pali Tripitakas came, then after that Sanskrit sutras are composed following the Pali Tripitakas. That is a misconception. That is wrong. Pali Tripitakas and Sanskrit sutras simultaneously developed in India. There is a striking similarity because they were all disciples. The Pali Tripitakas normally starts like that. Evam me sutam, ekam samayam, bhagava, antarachanalandam, antaracharajagiham, adhana magga patipanno hoti panchamattehi bhikkhu satehi. Like this. Every sutta starts, evam me sutam, because they are collected. No, Buddha's teachings are collected. That is why it comes like this. I have heard like this. Once Buddha said like this. So disciples said like this, and all those their remembrances and their collections are collected into the Tripitakas. And the collection of the Tripitakas itself is a great historical event. But you see, it happened only in India. In Bharata can happen like this in the whole world. It never happened anywhere in the world. In Jainism also, how they have collected such a vast teachings and how many people they memorized it already, and how they collected in memory, not in written, collected in memory, and for hundreds of years, thousands of years they carried, and later on they are printed. So this shows how strong our India, Bharata, was there. So one should know all these things. And in the beginning of every sutra, you can find it, evam me sutam, ekam samayam, bhagava savathyam viharati, jetavani, anadhavindikas arami. So Mahayana sutras also start like that. Evam maya shrutam, ekasmin samaye, shravasthyam viharati sma bhagavan Buddha, like that. So people think that this is a translation of Pali is the first, Sanskrit is the later. No, it is not correct. Both are simultaneously developed. So what I say, one of the losses is we have ignored the vast Buddhist Sanskrit literature. You see, we are in Sanskrit field in India. Sanskrit literature is not seriously studied. When we study Buddhist Sanskrit literature, it's a big problem. Sanskrit literature itself is like ocean. If you just don't take Buddhist literature, only Sanskrit literature, so vast. Even that also we do not know. Even Sanskrit, how vast Sanskrit literature. We know only few things like some Veda, some Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, Bharata, Ramayana, like that. But we have the wealth of Sanskrit manuscripts in India and abroad. One book is there. He said that there are at least 3 lakhs manuscripts, Sanskrit manuscripts now. So many manuscripts are lost. Still we have that much literature. That is why I said that to understand India, we had to know these 3 languages and through literature. Unfortunately, we could not continue these languages and literatures. It happened due to our convent education, Macaulay education, enter into India. And also it happened maybe invasions of Muslim invaders and several other facts also. Now, as you see, our children also do not know the names of Sanskrit texts, and our youngsters do not know this wealth of Sanskrit literature, our own literature. And Buddhist Sanskrit literature is very vast, and that entire Sanskrit, Buddhist Sanskrit literature is available now. Many of the books are available, but most of the books are translated and they are available only in Tibetan and Chinese translations. Because Tibetans came to India, they studied in Nalanda, and our teachers were great teachers in ancient time. They entered into other lands and they were worshipped like gods. So India's greatest thing means, as Sir said, Bharatasya pratishthe dve sanskritam sanskritisthata. In the same way, we can say that one of the most important dynamic nature of our teachers, ancient teachers, our acharyas. You take from Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, and then come to Padmasambhava, the great Buddhist teachers, Padmasambhava, Shantarakshita, Shantideva. Such a great teachers. And they entered into other lands. And the people astonished to see their knowledge and their humility, their culture. That is why Manu says in Manusmriti, Etad Desha Prasutasya Sakasha Dagrajan Manaha Swam Swam Charitram Siksheran Pradhivyam Sarvamanava. From Indian, everybody should know how to behave, when to get up in the morning, what to eat, how to behave, how to talk. Everybody should learn from Indian, Manu says. But are we in the same situation now? We are learning, sometimes I am learning from Americans after coming here, how systematically they are living, how systematically they are talking. So this is a very serious problem. And now this vast literature, see a lot of literature, but still so much literature is there, like Bodhicharya Avatara, Nagarjuna's literature. Nagarjuna is from Nagarjuna Sagar we have, and he was a great scholar, and he found a great philosophical discussion called Shunyavada. What Buddha stands always in between. You see, Buddha did not accept the 2 extremes. You see, what happened when Buddha sat for the enlightenment, to know that, because many times he sat to know the truth, but unfortunately he could not get it. And at the end, he went to Uruvela, which is now Bodh Gaya, and he decided that until I realize, I never get up. Then he sat so many days without ahara, without food. Later he describes in Tripitaka, we get, Ananda. Ananda was his close disciple. Ananda, that time when I touched my stomach, my hand touched my backbone. He said, Buddha says, when I touched my stomach, I touched my backbone from front, not from back. He becomes such a thin, but still he could not understand the reality. Then a lady came, Sujata. Sujata came and he thought that, some Vrikshadevata is sitting there, and she gave the paisa, and Buddha went to Niranjana river and took bath, and he ate the payasa. And again he sat, then he got enlightened after eating. And this scene was seen by his 5 followers, Panchavargiya Bhikshus. They were waiting that, oh, our teacher, very ancient period, you cannot understand now the situation. They were waiting that he is doing penance and we will get some many siddhis. Many accomplishments our teacher will give. But when they saw that he is eating payasa, they just went up. Oh, he became Brashta. He cannot understand. So they went away. They left Buddha. But Buddha, after eating only, after taking payasa only, he got enlightenment. That is why Buddha says, don't do too much anything. Don't completely abandon the food. Don't eat too much. Stand in between. Always, not only the food, every theories also. Buddha condemned the Uchedavada. Buddha has condemned the Shashvatavada. Both are not correct, Buddha said. Stand in between. Nagarjuna says, same thing. Astiti Shashvata Graha. Nastiti Ucheda Darshanam. Tasmad Astitva Nastitve Nastiyeta Vipaschita. Some people say everything is there, everything is permanent. Everything is permanent, everything is permanent. Some people say nothing is permanent, nothing is permanent. Both have not realized the reality. In Tevijja Sutta, there is a discussion between Buddha and many rishis' names come. Buddha is very, first of all, the problem is we think that Buddha is very, wherever we take the Buddha, when we take the name of the Vasishtha, we think that, oh, Vasishtha, Buddha means take very lightly. Oh, Buddha, like as if he's our friend. No, he was very ancient. He was a contemporary to many rishis that you can find in Tevijja Sutta in Dighanikaya. We had a discussion with the Bharadwaja, Angirasa. We have the discussion in Buddha. He was a Muni. Buddha is also one of the great Munis, that we should understand that first. And Buddha clearly said, in Sutta Nipata is one of the texts in Khuddaka Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka. In Sutta Nipata, Buddha very clearly says, who is Muni? Buddha himself is saying, who is Muni? The Muni Suttam. So he says, Santavato Bhayam Jatam in Pali, Santavato Bhayam Jatam, Niketa Jayate Rajo, Aniketam Asanthavam, Etam Ve Munidassam. Buddha says, this is Muni Darshana, he says. Are we treating Buddha as Muni? No. So this is the situation. So what he says about Muni, Santavaso Bhayam Jatam, means by attachment we are getting fear. Niketa Jayate Rajo, means because of constantly staying in the house, we are getting Rajo, attachment, too much attachment. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, same thing he said. There is no difference at all. Don't be attached to this world. Avidya. Vedanta says remove avidya. Buddha says same thing. In Pratitya Samutpada, 12 steps. That is what Pratitya Samutpada, the dependent origination, it is called. That is what the knowledge he got during enlightenment. In Pratitya Samutpada, the last one, the primary cause is avidya only. Chain. There is a chain. How we are getting dukkha? Because he says, because we are taking birth. Why we are taking birth? Because we have bhava. Why we have bhava? Because we have vedana. Why we have vedana? Because we have sparsha. Like that, why we have having all this? Because of avidya, lost. Same thing like Vedanta. So he says that Niketa Jayate Raju, Aniketam Asanthavam, that is why abandoning all attachment is Etam Ve Munidassana. This is Munidarshan. And Buddha stands in between. And same thing you will find, this is also a kind of, sometimes, Buddha's teachings and Bhagavad Gita have striking similarity. Same time, that is why they had the same things. Same literature we have in ancient India. That is what we have to understand. In Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara Viharasya, Natyashnatastu Yogosti. In Bhagavad Gita, Natyashnatastu Yogosti, Nachatyantam Anashnatah. If you take too much food, you cannot do yoga. You cannot get yoga. You cannot completely abandon food. Also, you cannot get yoga. That is Madhyama Marga. This is middle. Same thing Buddha said. So those disciples, those who became, because let me complete, but what happened to those 5 disciples? They went to Sarnath, Isipatana, the present Sarnath, near Varanasi. Varanasi is a very important place. Even in Buddhism, you see, the Buddhism is not different. You should understand that. Even in Buddhism, Varanasi is praised like that. You know that recently there was a big discussion in India, prediction of Buddha in Chakravati Sihanada Sutta. After 84,000 of years, Maitreya Buddha will take birth in this world. Where he will take birth, it is not clear. That is why because Buddhism became very powerful. We should understand that many countries are Buddhist countries now. And they are trying to, I think, divert the situation. But we have searched in Buddhist Nikayas. He will take birth in Varanasi. Ketumati. Ketumati is described. Where is Ketumati? People are trying to say this is Ketumati, that is Ketumati, but Ketumati is Varanasi only. So he will take birth in Varanasi. So Varanasi was important. They went to near Varanasi, Isipatana, and Buddha, after enlightenment, he went to, first, you know what happened? After getting enlightenment, he went to his teachers. He had 2 teachers. This is very important, I forgot to tell. Buddha had 2 teachers. He himself says, everybody knows that. One is Alara Kalama, other is Udraka Ramaputra. Both were the Sankhya teachers. Ashwagosha very clearly, now we do not have time, but at least 30, 40 stanzas, he describes wonderfully about this episode, what Alarakarama taught Buddha. Now, if you search the websites, Buddhist websites, first of all, many websites are not telling that Buddha had teachers, not clearly telling. And some websites say that these names only they say, and what they taught to Buddha, they say a kind of meditation they taught. Only that much is written. A kind of Alarakama taught a meditation to Buddha. Not meditation. Alarakama taught Buddha Sankhya Darshana. You see, they don't want to keep the connectivity to Buddhism, Buddhadharma and Sanatana Dharma. They want to break the connectivity. That's why they never say these things. So Alarakalama, Udrakaramaputra both taught Buddha the Sankhya Darshana. And that is why Buddhism and Sankhya Darshana is striking similarity. Now, one more thing I will tell you. You see, Buddha did not speak about the Paramatma. All our sages did not speak about the Paramatma. You see, you should not think that, we should not misunderstand our ancient literature like this, ancient teachers like that. Suppose Kanada, he speaks about the Padarthas. Kapila speaks about the nature. Where Kapila spoke about the Paramatma? Because there is a Sankhya, again, 3 kinds of Sankhya. Again, that is why in the oldest Sankhya, there is no mention of Paramatma. And Ishvara Krishna is very authentic book, is more authentic than the Sankhya Pravachana Sutras, because Shankaracharya also quoted the Ishvara Krishna's Karikas only. What Ishvara Krishna says, Dukhatraya Bhigata Jignasa Tatapagataki Hetu Dushtesa Apartha Naikantika Atyantato. First one. The second is Dushtavad Anushravika Sahya Vishuddhi Kshaya Atishaya Yukta. We cannot get the answer from Vedas also, he said. In search of our problem is suffering. We have 3 kinds of sufferings, Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidaivika. And we want the solution. How we get solution? We cannot get in this world, Drushta. And also, if you say we can get answer in Veda, no, we cannot get answer in Veda also, very clearly says. Nobody says that Sankhya is atheistic, but I don't know why. People always say Buddhism is atheistic, Buddha is different, Buddha says same thing. Buddha did not condemn Vedas anywhere in the Tripitakas. Buddha's adjective is Vedagu. Vedagu is Vedagnya. Veda name comes many times. And Buddha never condemned the yajnas also. In Kutadanta Sutta, Brahman Kutadanta, was a renowned Brahmin in those days. He was taking all 500 cows, 500 goats, like the description comes. Conducted a great yajna. And he invited everybody. He comes to Buddha and he says that he invited Buddha to yajna. And Buddha says immediately to Buddhadharma, see, did you see the faces of these cows? I don't come to such yajna where violence is taking place. And then what he says is, I don't like yajnas. I condemn yajna. He never says like that. I don't like the yajnas, those yajnas where you will kill the animals. And then he says, your ancestors also used to perform yajnas without animal sacrifices, he says. I like those yajnas. So, like this, there are several things. And Buddha, Sankhya Darshana and Yoga Darshana. Buddha's teachings are very close to Yoga Darshana, very similar to Yoga Darshana. Yoga Darshana also, you see, not importantly speaks about the God. We should not mistake like this. Everybody, all Darshana. We have some misconception in our minds. Our ancient sages were scientists, not pujaris. They were investigating to know the truth. Like in Vedas, Nasadiya Sukta, Nasadasi, Sadasi, so that investigation started. That's a great country, India. Whatever we are thinking now, our age is a wonderland. Very ancient times, they try to understand what is the cause of this creation. Who is cause of? What was in the beginning? Water was there, earth was there, what was there? And later on, its investigation continued, and that investigation continued in darshanas also, sciences also. That is why not everybody is orthodox and speaking about the God only. They accepted God, but they discussed many other things, like padarthas, like nature. You see, like Sankhya Darshana, Kapila says how you will get rid of this suffering. You will get rid of the suffering by Viveka Dhyati, Viveka Jnana. What Viveka Jnana? You should realize that Prakriti is different, you are the different. By that, you will get enlightenment. That is what he said. There is no mention of any other thing. So Buddha also said many things like that. Panchavimshati tattvajnaha yatra kutrashrame vasit chati mundi shikhi vapi muchyate natra samshaya. You have to know only 25 elements, that's all, for the enlightenment. Moksha ke liye 25 tattva ko janna chahiye. Only 25 elements you have to know, that's all. You should realize what are the 25 elements? 24 elements are Prakriti, nature. You are the 25th element, you are the Purusha. That is what Sankhya Yoga comes in Bhagavad Gita. Ahankara vimodhatma kartahamiti manyate. Same thing you will find in Buddhism also. He says that Mula Prakriti Avikrutihi Mahadajyaha Prakriti Vikrutayaha Sapta Shodashakastu Vikaraha Na Prakritihi Na Vikrutihi Purusha. So 24 elements are very important. This is a great investigation in very ancient time. You can say at least complementarity, Buddhism and Sankhya Darshana. But you can say that Sankhya Darshana is ancient because Kapila is the ancient sage. And Kapila's followers, Sishyas only, Udra Karamaputra, Alara Kama. So after enlightenment, first went Buddha in searching his two teachers. After realizing the truth, he went to his teachers. First, he went to his teachers, not anybody else. He wanted to tell the truth. Oh, I understood this. But by that time, they were no more. They were not living. Then he started to Isipatana. There he found the Panchavarga, those 5 disciples, those who became disappointed and went, he found them and he gave first sermon. That is why if you go to Sarnath, even now you can find this first sermon statues. You can find Buddha is sitting and the 5 disciples are sitting. Panchavarga bhikshus. So Yoga Darshana also have a lot of similarity. Mano Pubbangama Dhamma, Mano Setha, Mano Maya. Manasa, Buddha speaks about the mind. So much about the mind like Yoga Darshana. If you see, it was a wonderful Buddha Darshana. And also, later on in Mahayana, Bodhicitta developed. Bodhicitta is very wonderful. Please read about the Bodhicitta. Bhava Viveka says, Bodhichitta Parityagaha Munivrata Samashrayah Tattvajnana Cheti Charya Sarvartha Siddhi. You will get everything Sarvartha Siddhi if you do three things. One is Bodhichitta, and the other is you should lead the life of the monk. You should live like a Muni. And Tattvajnana, always you should search for the truth. If you do these three things, you will get Sarvartha Siddhi. Bhavaveka said. Buddhadharma is having so much importance in ancient India. And it has a contribution of Buddhadharma to Bharatiya Sanskriti. This topic given by Sir is very much relevant and very much appropriate. A lot of Buddhadharma is having a lot of contribution to our Sanatana Sanskriti. You cannot remove Buddhadharma and see only Vedic Dharma is our Sanatana. No, you could not do like that, I think. Buddhadharma is very much connected to us. And it has a lot of contribution. Linguistic, philosophical, religious, cultural influence it has. Thank you very much, sir, for giving this opportunity.
Thank you. Most wonderful. I can see how much more we can learn from you. And incidentally, you mentioned two important directions you gave for our study. One is the study of Bodhicharyavatara. And in Bodhicharyavatara, we have in our assembly right here, Dr. Aurora Rivendell. Dr. Aurora Rivendell is a very dear friend of ours. She has presented on this platform the two lectures on Bodhicharyavatara. Rory, if you are there, if you can show your picture, we would like to see you if you are there.
I'm here. It won't let me. Okay.
Shantideva and Bodhicharyavatara. I have published a book in 2000.
Oh, you have written?
Yes, I have edited that. I have myself and Anikunga Chodran from America. She is from Shakya Monastery in America. And myself and also another person from America, Baltimore, Dexter. I forgot her full name. We three edited that book. That was after our International Buddhist Conference. So those papers we have taken, and it's a wonderful book, Shantideva and Bodhicharyavatara.